All right, everyone, I'm so excited to be here with you at noon. Today, my guest is going to be Niematulai Longstratt, and we are going to have some really great topics that we're going to cover today. But first, I just want to let you guys know that you need to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. That's PrizeCast on YouTube, so you'll never miss an episode. Or if you're more of a Facebook person, make sure to tune in every day at noon. We're going to have different guests, different hosts, different topics. It's going to be an amazing time. And tonight, speaking of amazing times, we're going to be doing a virtual happy hour and Ask Me Anything over on the Prize Fest page. So grab that drink, put on some jammies, pants, whatever you want to do, and come and hang out with us, guys. All right, so now I'm going to welcome our guest, Nima. Just say hi to the crowd real quick.
Hello, everyone. This is Niematulai Longstratt saying hello to everyone. Stay put, stay right here, and enjoy our Prize Fest episode.
So the first question that I have to start with is, you are currently a resident of Louisiana, but you weren't always maybe from here. Can you tell us how long you have lived in Louisiana and maybe where you might have come from?
I am originally from Sierra Leone, and I moved to Shreveport, Doler area 7 years ago. And I can't tell you how much I'm so excited to be a part of this great community.
So how did your journey with RNL first start? Like what was the impetus, the spark that got you interested in pursuing fashion?
So, as fortunate as I was back then, I went to the market. We're not privileged enough to have a mall at the time. So you have to go to a big, huge market where you can pick out things that you want, whether it's clothing, whether it's food stuff. So I walked into the store and it was very dry. There was no customer service whatsoever. And I spoke to this guy. He was Lebanese, and just having conversations with him. And I said, but when I walked in here, you have the nicest shoes on the block, but there's no charisma in here. There's no life in here. I said, what are you doing? And he said, I'm offloading my new collection from the Ports Authority. I was like, awesome, but you will not sell that if you don't have that charisma or that smiley face. You know what I'm saying? And I said, by the way, I speak Arabic. But at the time, it was a big BS, Stephen. I'm going to be truthful to you. I didn't speak Arabic. I didn't speak French. But I told this man that, I understand Arabic. You're Lebanese. I speak your language. I started talking my little slang Arabic stuff that I know. And I said, by the way, I'm only making these conversations with you because I want to sell this whole collection that you're bringing in 2 days. And he was like, 2 days? I was like, yeah, 2 days. I said, I can do that. I speak multiple languages. And he laughed so hard and said, why do you want to work? You're such a pretty girl. Why do you want to work? I said, because I want to go to school. Okay. And I said, and today I came here to buy a pair of shoes, but I'm definitely also looking for a job. And he said, what type of job? I said, give me 2 days and let me sell the shoes and we can negotiate my pay. And I came back on Monday, early morning, and I sold those shoes in 2 days. And he said, oh, you did amazing. I'll pay you 80,000 franc. At the time, 80,000 franc was even up to $20. Mm. And I took up the pay. I didn't know what the school requires and how much it was going to cost me, but I was just determined to go to school. Mm. And then I came back to him, worked the whole week, and he said because I did so well, he was going to raise my pay. But then that evening, when he told me he was going to raise my pay, he called me to the side and asked me, are you really going to use this money for school? I said, yes, sir. Where are your parents? I said, well, I'm a refugee in Conakry. I'm from Sierra Leone. I came from Sierra Leone during the Civil War, and my dad is in the U.S. My mom is late. I just want to work and see myself and my family through school. So he told me, go ask, and I'll see you through school up to your college level.
So your inspiration with fashion, I'll make the claim here. So your inspiration with fashion started with those pair of shoes. And what kind of shoes were they?
They were Spice Girls high top sneakers.
All right, Nima. So we've talked about the shoes. We know that you've had the job, that maybe might be like the impetus for what started your fashion brand. But can you tell us what R&L Authentics is, and kind of like what was that force that carried you through to maybe start designing clothing?
Growing up, everyone around me dressed up well, and everyone in the entire country will dress up because that's how we express ourselves. That's how we show ourselves in our fashion.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So I was inspired from day one, seeing all the beautiful colors and growing up from a home where my mom was very particular about how she looked. And, you know, I just love to wake up in the morning and just watch her do her thing. And she was very, very dark, so dark. And she has like really red lips on and beautiful clothing. And I wanted to be like her or even make her clothes. I remember before she passed away, I bought her this beautiful piece of fabric that I actually designed her dress that she made out of. Fashion is of significance to Africans. Like our home and our clothing is how we speak our language.
You know, you've talked about your mother, but now let's talk about that fashion brand specifically and how you took that inspiration from your mom to the streets and other people.
Coming from a background where entrepreneurship is in our blood, and why I say that is because I'm a Fulani by tribe. I should have mentioned that in the beginning, but if you were just tuning in, I am Fulani by tribe, and Fulani are nomads. Like, we are all over the world and we're business people. It's instilled in us. I remember, you know, when I used to live in Guinea-Conakry, I used to go by road to buy my fabric from Mali, Bamako, and create beautiful pieces and bringing it back home and selling it to locals and selling it to people who are up there, and still was able to balance out and make my money. But fast forward to moving to the US, I remember meeting a very, very awesome person in Shreveport, and I didn't know that she was taking notes as I talked. She was busy taking notes. And then finally one day she said, "Friend, stop. You got to do this. You can cook and you can make clothes. You got to do it, girl." Like she said, "Go ahead and kill it." I was like, oh my God, you really, really took notes of me talking to you, just venting? And she said, "Yes, because I believe in you." And everything else from there on was just beautiful. Like the way the community embraced me, the way the people she introduced me to, the people that I came across on my own, the people my husband introduced me to, just made everything possible and just made Shreveport Bossier home for me. I can't emphasize enough to you how much this has changed my life, and that's how I actually birthed R&L Authentics LLC.
So Nima, now we're gonna step into present day. You've had the journey from your childhood to the founding of R&L Authentics, thanks to your friend Ashley, and an experience that happened in 2014. You weren't living in Sierra Leone, of course, at the time. Was the Ebola crisis. Now we know this epidemic took the lives of 4,000 people. It's very sad, very traumatic, but your family was living there in Sierra Leone. How was that experience for them, and how is it now for you living through the pandemic that is the coronavirus? Are there any similarities that you feel with these two crises?
It's been nerve-wracking for me just to think about what we're going through now and what my people went through a few years ago. I follow the news very much because I still have people that I love back home, my family, my friends, and all that. So when that happened, the first thing I did was get into teacher mode. You know, I had to be a teacher. I had to be a leader. So when that Ebola crisis happened, the first thing I did was to call my family and tell them how serious it was to me and how serious it should be to them, to wash their hands, don't hug people, because we're used to it. That's why I love the South. That's why I love Shreveport Bossier, because I can give everyone a hug. And now I feel very lonely and selfless because I can't give hugs and love. I'm so numb to the situation right now. I don't know what to think, how to process it, but all I can tell you is stay strong.
Well, you know, thank you for that answer, and thank you for reminding us all that we should be washing our hands and not hanging out with people during this time.
Absolutely.
So we've talked about your fashion. You've been killing it in the fashion game for so long, but funny enough, not a lot of people know about the fashion because recently so many people have met you through your food. So tell me how you even dreamt of putting food and fashion under the R&L Authentics LLC brand, and what inspired you to start exploring your career as a culinary professional?
So coming from school and watching my mother cook amazing meal with little stuff that we have or stuff that we can afford, because I can't lie to you, we were able to afford some good stuff at the time, you know, just inspired me. Like, my mom can cook tomato and water and still taste good. And I sit in front of her and I ask her, how did you do this? I said, do not tell me your way, just tell me all what you put in it, and then I'll add something to the pot. So we challenged ourselves, even though she would cuss the hell out of me in the, can I cuss? Oh.
Yeah, you know, we'll find out. Let's go for it.
Even though she would cuss the hell out of me in the kitchen trying to help her, whether it's to pound pepper. We didn't have blenders, so I have to use a stone to grind my pepper, to grind the onions, to grind whatever seasoning that she's using. She would still cuss me out, but I was excited to help. I was excited to watch her cook. So that inspired me a lot in doing all of those things. And then fast forward to growing up, cooking for my friends, I was the host. I was the host, and it didn't bother me. I loved every bit of it. And every time I cook, people would say, you need a restaurant. I was like, are you going to pay for it? If you're not, then just enjoy this meal. But that inspired me to do what I'm doing today for a living.
That's wonderful. I mean, I personally had your food. I'm sorry for anybody who hasn't. And really, the way that I met you was through the Louisiana Food Prize. So fortunate to run into you during one of our Society of the Golden Fork dinners. And if a lot of people don't know, which many of our viewers may not, the Society of the Golden Fork is a private dining series where we bring together a collective of chefs to put on these very unique and special dinners for about 50 guests, right? Down to beautiful plating. It allows these chefs to really experiment with techniques that they may not get to try in their everyday environments. So for you, you participated for the first time last year in 2019. Could you tell people what that experience was like? Because it's not just a dinner series, right? It is an actual competition where you're competing against 20 other people to have a spot in our battle for the Golden Fork, to win $5 grand, a trophy, and so much more. What was that like for you?
It was like American Idol.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
I mean, it was like American Idol, because I blew up, and I'm sure you're not going to leak those photos because got to sign something for you. So you don't leak my happy moments. Like, people who know me when I'm excited, my friends will tell you when she laughs, when she's excited, she has like a really distinct vein up here. And maybe it's right now, it's out because I'm so excited. But it was the most beautiful experience, Stephen. And I can't tell the story enough. And for me to be a part of the foundation just means that I'm more connected to the community. And that's what you guys are doing. And I can't thank you guys enough. Sorry, I had to make it about you guys.
Thank you for sharing that story with us. So we've talked about your fashion brand, your food brand. We've brought together your history all in one. What would you like to say to your colleagues in the fashion and food industries currently who are, going through a lot of hardship and attempting to stay afloat in the midst of this crisis?
One of the things that I'll tell you, this is a time for you to recuperate. This is a time for you to rest, get all of your rest, because I want you to look at this as just strategizing and getting yourself together for a better future. I want you to focus on you, focus on your family, focus on your friends, and focus on your plan.
My final question isn't so much a question as much as it is like a request. Now, your food is super delicious, and there are plenty of people missing it during this time, so I didn't really give you a whole lot of time to prepare for this, so I get it. But I have to have some of your food at home. So is there like maybe a dish or a recipe that you can give your adoring fans today, your hungry Food Prize Foundation fans, so that we can try it at home and have a little bit of Sierra Leone in our kitchen?
Absolutely. Most people would call it a Sierra Leonean dish, but I know, you know, desperate times calls for desperate measures. And if you're home and you know that you don't have all the basic necessities, but you have a few things in your freezer or your fridge that's going bad, I'll leave you with one thing that I lean to. If you have a head of cabbage, one onion, one tomato, your celery, whatever vegetables you have in your fridge or your pantry, you know, pull it out. Everything veggies makes you healthy. And we're all trying to look fine, even though we don't know if we're going to show off our summer body, but we're still going to keep healthy because it's for us. So make sure, but one or two things that I'm going to leave you with, that is my secret weapon. It is a ginger and garlic. So you mix all of that together, stir fry it for like 5 minutes, and then turn the fire off and just let it simmer down and ease off and cool off. So when you get back to it, it's still crunchy, it's not mushy, you're still able to eat healthy stuff. And if you don't want to eat all veggies, guess what? You can add a little starch to it, just because we're missing meat or fish or some type of protein. So you can add some rice, and here you go, you have your veggie fried rice.
So guys, that was Nima. This is me. Remember, sign in with us tomorrow, every day of the week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, Thursday. We have an episode coming out at noon, and you don't want to miss it. Tonight, we're going to be doing a virtual happy hour and an Ask Me Anything with our Prize Foundation staff. Check in with us at 6 p.m. on the Prize Fest page, and then come back if you happen to miss this episode or you want to see any other episode we've shot. Check us out on YouTube, like this page, subscribe to our YouTube page, that's PrizeCast, and hit that notification bell so you will never miss an episode. Thank you guys so much. We'll be seeing you again super soon on Monday. Nima, thanks for coming out.
Viva la Food Prize. I gotta represent my people. Viva la Food Prize.
Viva, guys. All right. See you at the next episode. Bye. Thanks, Nima.
Bye, Steven.